Liria, and today we're gonna talk about the worst art advice everybody gets at least once, and it's to draw every day. We've all heard it before. People will say, yeah, just keep drawing every day and you're bound to get better, but that's honestly not true. You need to try out new things and learn to improve your skills. You need to know what to focus on and how to actually change your methods. Let's talk about the downsides of this advice. When you're still a beginner, you probably spend a lot of time and energy on your drawings just to then either dislike the results or you do like the results, but it's still not where you want it to be. So you spend every day drawing something, probably getting frustrated because every drawing every day seems to be just about the same level of skill. Sometimes the drawings will even look worse than the other ones did before, and you are going to question if you can even do this. Which, don't question that. You can do this. Drawing is a skill that's learned, and if you do it right and if you just keep going, and the difference in saying just keep going and draw every day is that if you keep going with the right methods, you are going to improve. You might also improve if you just draw every day, but it won't be fast and it might just take forever. If you repeat this cycle every day without seeing any change in your skills, it gets really frustrating and you end up being stressed about art, the one thing you started to do for fun and passion. And yeah, we really don't want that. We want you to stay in a place where maybe you get frustrated with art sometimes, but overall it's still fun to you and you want to keep going in making the art. What is actually the advice that's gonna help you grow your skills? First off, you don't have to draw every day to improve. Not even close to it. Like, maybe you draw every day when you actually have something to work on every day. If drawing becomes a task to you and you can't enjoy it anymore, looking at your sketchbook page makes you anxious, like you're going to hold a presentation in front of the whole class, maybe give yourself some time to rest. Try to solve one problem at a time. As a beginner artist, it's hard for you to tell what's wrong with your drawing. You could ask other artists online and chat groups and stuff what they think you should focus on improving first. Or you can pick a topic yourself. Most likely, it doesn't even matter what subject you pick, you will have space to improve in any of them. So pick the one that bothers you the most or the ones you're already really good in. Some things we can just do better than others, so invest in what you are good at, and you've got the energy to pull through the more difficult tasks then. Go to your drawings, look at them, and find out what you're really good at. Go to your drawings, analyze them. What is easy for you to draw? What's the thing you like to draw? Look at other people's art. What is it you like about their art? And then choose a subject to work on, whether it might be colors, lighting, anatomy, clothing, texture, perspective. It doesn't matter, just pick one of them and start studying. Now, when it comes to actually learning how to do these things, I can only recommend you to search for tutorials and courses. The ones that helped me the most were often from professors, since they know how to tell you things so you understand them. Sometimes you can draw while watching one of these or try to implement the techniques you learned later by writing them down and remembering them. Mostly if you want to improve, spend your time learning the fundamentals and then try to incorporate them into your drawing. I find that learning with a book can often be easier than learning with tutorials, or an internet course just because it's a book. It's not connected to the internet. When I go onto my iPad to search something up, I get distracted so easily and just click on Instagram, for example, to check what's going on there. Or if I search for the subject on YouTube, I might get distracted too. So if you have a book, you can just open up the page. Everything in that book is part of what you are learning, and then you just go to the subcategory of the topic you're working on and the answers are there. Books are very direct and great for learning, so you can just go online and search for a few books that other artists recommend. They are usually pretty good, so like listen to our fellow artists on what books to pick. Then you have good study materials. When you are studying, keep your focus on your reference just as much as on your drawings. I cannot tell you the amount of times I started to draw something, especially when I was a beginner, and I had a reference, but somehow I got distracted by my drawing, because obviously you see the reference and you see your drawing and you see this does not work, your drawing looks wrong, and you go and you try to fix it. While you're fixing it, all your focus lands on your drawing and you're not even comparing right anymore. Keep your reference and your drawing next to each other. If you can, make them the same size. Stand back and just look at them from afar. Because if something really looks wrong, like the overall shape of it, the only way you're going to see what's actually wrong is by going back and looking at them from afar. It's way easier to tell the little mistakes and hiccups that way. Here are a few things that could be wrong in your drawings and what I would say to you to change that. First, if your poses are stiff, go and do gesture and figure drawings. Keep them loose and quick. This will help you get rid of the stiffness specifically. If you notice yourself slowing down while drawing the poses, which happens really quickly because you tend to focus in on one pose, set yourself a timer for each pose, and then you're just going to draw the gesture of the pose loosely. It doesn't have to be good. You just have to analyze the way the body moves and kind of flows and draw that on the page. You don't need to draw the whole body and all the details of it, just the base shape of the movement that's in the pose. Second, if your drawing lacks depth, draw different shapes and practice foreshortening and perspective. This is more technical and will help you view your drawings in a 3D setting. Another thing you could do for depth is work this out with your values. Values can help a lot with depth. Third, if your colors are dull, do some color studies and try to incorporate more undertones for vibrancy. You might know about like undertones in skin and stuff, but what you have to realize is that colors always have undertones. It doesn't matter what you're looking at, there's always another color in that color. And it's not hard to get these undertones. I remember that when I started drawing, I didn't know how to draw these. In and of itself, it's very simple. When you want to draw an apple, you're gonna choose the hue, the red hue you want. And while picking the colors, you're not going to let your hue slider stay where it's at. You're going to wiggle it a bit in one direction and after that a bit in the other direction. Just this tiny movement of the hue slider will give you yellow and blue undertones. There's a lot of color studies you could do, a lot of practices you can do. Look them up and start doing them. If your art lacks a direct light source, learn about a few different lighting scenarios and try them out. With lighting, it's important to understand how light works. It's basically bouncing in all directions at all times and reflecting the surfaces it lands upon. Like it's a tiny little mirror that flies around the room. I should mention edge control. Another thing you could try if your art isn't looking the way you want it to, get rid of your soft brush. Don't use it. Stop using it. I mean, for real, it's like a soft brush detox. I used to spend hours on my drawings. So long. I drew for so long. The amounts of time I sat down and I just kept on blending with my soft brushes. And while I tried to draw, I just ended up blending it away again. And then when I didn't fully blend it away, there was always this murky, just everything was murky because there were now hard edges and edge control. Hard edges help you with being precise, really understanding what it is that you're drawing. So if you do want to improve and you see that your drawings are often murky and you use the soft brush a little bit too much, just do a soft brush detox and only use the hard round brush. You really don't need more. The next thing I can tell you is that not every drawing you do has to be pretty or even fairly good. Even by now, when I open up my sketchbook, stuff still looks wonky and weird because it's a sketchbook and you don't have to draw everything perfectly all the time. You know, what we see online is often what people really want to push out. It's the pretty drawings. I mean, I don't post all my ugly drawings. Well, sometimes. But most of the time, no, I won't post them. Everybody makes ugly drawings. The wonkiness of drawing sometimes gives them character, and even though you might have just drawn somebody that looks like a frog that's disfigured, maybe that's a good thing. You also make drawings that are not wonky and ugly, yes? I can tell, every time I see beginner art, there's always some wonky, weird drawings, and in between is this little, this piece of perfection that you guys do, and then just move on. I don't know, I feel like it's part of the learning progress where you make art, and in between is just a piece that's really good, and then you go back to the drawings you did before that are not that skill level. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I feel like that's the stages of improvement. Like you make one really good drawing and then you just revert back, and it got you freaking out. I remember, I mean, it still happens, like you make a good drawing and after that you try to do it again and it just doesn't work, and then you freak out, but don't worry, it's gonna come back. Most of all, don't put pressure onto yourself into improving immediately. All of these concepts, every single one of them that goes into one artwork, because there's a lot that goes into one artwork, are very complicated and need time to be understood and even more time to execute. If you go at this with focus and tackle one thing after another, you will improve way faster than you would by drawing mindlessly every day. And seeing your improvement will help you stay motivated to learn the next few principles. And obviously when I say learn one after another, I don't mean perfect one after another. You're just going to do a study until you feel like in this one particular subject you improved. Doesn't need to be much, just that you improved and you say, that's enough for me, let's move on to the next subject. Well, I hope this video was fun for you. It was kind of a filler video because I didn't know what to make for this week's video, but I thought, you know, this art advice is such an old topic. Why not? Because it's easy. I've thought about this so many times because it's just terrible advice. And yeah, I mean, I've already said to people, just keep drawing, but I meant just keep making stuff, like don't give up. I'm not saying draw every day or just draw mindlessly, because if you repeat the same thing again and again, it's gonna make you crazy. And I know I already said this in this video, but yeah, it's going to make you crazy, especially if you're not improving. That's the worst feeling of all time. Me and my friend Me made an artist Discord support server. That was a lot. Anyways, I'd love for you to join. It's just a little place where you can share your art and ask for advice and just talk about any kind of art topics. The link is down below. Also, please check out my Ko-fi. I offer commissions over there. Please like, subscribe and comment on the video if you liked it. Also follow me on Instagram. All this stuff people say when they just made a YouTube video. Check.